Hello and welcome back to This Week in Biotech, edition 60. Today I'm covering the greatest news from July 3rd to July 10th, 2025. And the first news that I'm going to talk about is Merck's acquisition of Verona Pharma for about $10 billion. Merck has struck a definitive agreement to acquire UK-based Verona Pharma for approximately $10 billion US, and the acquisition brings Ohtuvayre into Merck's pipeline. It is the first new inhaled maintenance therapy for chronic obstructive pulmonary disease in over 20 years, combining dual phosphodiesterase inhibitor to both dilate airways and reduce inflammation. With roughly 25,000 US prescriptions filled and $71 million in Q1 sales, nearly double of Q4's revenue, analysts forecast peak annual revenues in the 3 to 4 billion range. And the move fortifies Merck's respiratory franchise as Keytruda faces looming patent expiration in 2028. The deal, Merck's largest since its Prometheus acquisition in 2023, is expected to close in Q4 of 2025 and will leverage Merck's global commercial network to accelerate Ohtuvayre's expansion internationally. Another major news this week is KalVista Pharmaceuticals' oral on-demand therapy for hereditary angioedema, EKTERLY, received FDA approval on July 7th. And it is the first pill option for acute HEA attacks, offering a fast-acting and more portable alternative to injected and infused treatments. So the approval was actually delayed. If you remember, I talked about this a few weeks ago because of FDA's staff constraints and internal controversy, including reported efforts by the commissioner, Martin Makary, to challenge the application. Phase 3 and extension data showed symptom relief in as little as 10 minutes, with median onset at around 1.6 hours. Analysts forecast peak US sales of $250 to $600 million US, and KalVista priced the therapy at approximately $16,700 US per dose. The drug is launching immediately, and KalVista shares spiked almost 30% in the past few days. Next, Vertex Pharmaceuticals shared some long-term data on Casgevy. So Vertex presented compelling long-term follow-up data on Casgevy, which is the first FDA-approved CRISPR-Cas9 gene therapy at the 2025 European Hematology Association Congress, with mean follow-ups of approximately 5.5 years in sickle cell disease and 6 years in transfusion-dependent beta thalassemia. The results show a remarkable clinical durability. Almost 96% of sickle cell patients remained free from vaso-occlusive crises for at least 1 year, with 100% avoiding hospitalization, and 98.2% of thalassemia patients maintained transfusion independence for more than 12 consecutive months. Additionally, indicators like sustained hemoglobin levels and improvements in iron metabolism suggest not just symptom relief, but deeper disease correction. The safety profile remained consistent with the therapy's known conditioning regimen, reinforcing confidence in Casgevy's risk-benefit balance. These data solidify Casgevy's role as a durable, one-time transformative treatment that continues to perform years after administration. Next is ProKidney's update on its cell therapy. So ProKidney unveiled standout phase 2 data for rilparencel, which is autologous cell therapy targeting chronic kidney disease in diabetic patients. In Group 1, who received 2 scheduled injections, kidney function decline, which is measured by the eGFR slope, improved by 78%, which is a statistically and clinically meaningful result, and the therapy was well tolerated with no serious adverse events reported. Group 2 showed a 50% improvement, hinting at dose responsiveness. These results bolster confidence in the phase 3 design and support ProKidney's plan to seek accelerated approval using eGFR slope as a surrogate endpoint. The market reacted dramatically. Shares surged over 600% in a single day, triggering multiple volatility halts, though some analysts caution that questions remain and advise investor restraint. And next, the FDA has granted full approval for Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine Spikevax, extending its authorization to include young children aged 6 months to 11 years who are at increased risk for severe disease, such as immunocompromised individuals. Previously available under emergency authorization, this approval completes Spikevax coverage across all risk age groups from infants through seniors, just ahead of the 2025-2026 respiratory virus season. The move occurs amid mounting tension in federal vaccine policy following Health Secretary RFK Jr.'s May reversal of routine COVID-19 vaccine recommendations for healthy children and pregnant women, part of broader shifts including the firing and replacement of the CDC Vaccine Advisory Committee. Despite the turmoil, CDC guidance still supports shared clinical decision-making for healthy kids, and Moderna's share rose about 2% in pre-market trading on the news. This approval highlights both the scientific value of Spikevax and increasing complexity of regulatory dynamics around vaccination, especially COVID-19 vaccination. AbbVie inks a $700 million deal for trispecific myeloma drug ISB 2001. AbbVie has secured an exclusive global license covering North America, Europe, Japan, and Greater China from Ichnos Glenmark Innovation, IGI, for ISB 2001, a first-in-class BCMA, CD38, and CD3 trispecific T-cell engager, currently in phase 1 for relapsed or refractory multiple myeloma. The deal includes a $700 million upfront payment with potential to reach up to $1.23 billion in development, regulatory, and commercial milestones, in addition to double-digit royalties. Early data from 35 heavily pretreated patients presented at ASCO this year showed an impressive 79% overall response rate, including 30% complete responses, along with favorable safety profile. The partnership underscores AbbVie's strategic push into multi-specific immuno-oncology, enhancing its pipeline amid recent clinical setbacks. And lastly, I want to end with a little bit of a public health update. Measles outbreak hits U.S. record high amid vaccine rollbacks. Today's alarming news: the U.S. has reported over 1,288 measles cases, the highest annual total since the disease was declared eliminated in 2000, a level not seen since 1992. The surge is largely fueled by failing vaccination rates, especially in Texas and New Mexico, where coverage has slipped below the critical 95% herd immunity threshold. Public health officials warn that if this continues, the U.S. could lose its measles eliminated status entirely. That's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. There's a lot more news covered in the edition 60, but these were the most important ones in my opinion. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week.